COVID-19 is having a significant impact on businesses as many industries have come to a grinding halt while fighting the spread of the pandemic. But what are some of the challenges that businesses are facing when it comes to business interruption insurance? Our finance guru Maya Fisher-French joins me to talk more on how different insurers are paying out to businesses forced to close amid the global pandemic. A very good morning to Maya. What exactly is the business interruption insurance cover that is in dispute?
So many companies have a business interruption insurance cover, which means that if something happens that stops them from operating, they're covered. But in the hospitality industry, there was this extended cover. So this was something you paid extra for. And this really related to disease and contagion. If your business had to close down due to disease and contagion. So, of course, those businesses that had that cover thought they were absolutely fine when COVID came along and lockdown because they said, well, we've been paying for this insurance. The insurers have turned around, or some insurers have turned around and said, no, your business closed not because of COVID infections on your premises or in your area, but because of national lockdown. And you are not covered if it is a national lockdown. And this is really where the dispute is coming up. We had a paper issued by the Financial Sector Charter Authority, which was supposed to clarify this, and I'm not sure if it did, because on one hand, they confirmed that a lockdown cannot trigger the event. But on the other hand, they speak about if you are in an area where a major facility such as a hospital or retail centre is being closed down, or you are in a hotspot, one of the metro hotspots, that could consider a claim. So it seems to me it's a little bit of a chicken and egg. And we know that when lockdown happened, many areas, of course, our infection rates were still very, very low. So the businesses that were closed as a precautionary measure, not because the disease had actually broken out in the area. But what about now? I mean, does that mean a guest house in Cape Town, which became an epicenter, became a hotspot, should have a claim even under lockdown after the event? It's a little bit more clear-cut, Jane, now when everybody's opening up again, because if a restaurant, for example, has to close now, or a hotel has to close now because they have an outbreak of COVID, that would very definitely be covered under that specific business insurance because the event was particular to that hotel or restaurant having a breakout. And so it's this debate about whether lockdown triggered the event or the disease triggered the event.
Okay, and why are we seeing a discrepancy between insurance companies processing these claims? What's going on there?
It's a different position. Some insurers have taken a different view on this. So, for example, I think it was OUTsurance came out to say that they have been paying since April on these claims because their view is that the lockdown was triggered by the virus. If the virus didn't exist, lockdown wouldn't have happened. So therefore, is a direct correlation to a disease or contagion. Auto and General's also just come out and said that they will also be making payments. Some of the larger insurers are the ones who are digging their heels in and sticking to the argument that lockdown caused the closure of those businesses. Jane, it may have something to do with book exposure because OUTsurance covers sort of small businesses. It's a relatively small area of their business. They had 150 policies affected, and maybe some of the big insurance companies have a different position. I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, but that's possibly why we're seeing a different reaction. But this is going to court. Some of these hospitality chains are taking the large insurers to court to get this resolved. So I just think what's very sad is that there's so many businesses that could go under whilst waiting for this to be resolved.
It's sad indeed. Maya, thank you.